Hi everyone, this is Tanya the Lady Strange. Welcome to another collective reading for the week of October 19th of 2025 to October 25th, 2025. So I go Sunday to Saturdays. That's how my readings are guided with. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome. Thank you. While I am sitting out here and still enjoying what I can of my lovely backyard and patio before it changes. It's a rather crisp morning here in central New York State, but I'm blessed to have this and this opportunity and to be able to share my gifts and my message with you. It's also just a message for myself from Spirit, the universe. It's just an energetic reading, message, and guidance that may help us, each whom this may apply for in this collective, to have an empowered, effective week, no matter what our life experiences are, what we walk with, what we do, and how we identify. A little extra guidance of how things are right now will help us to have maybe some perspective and healthy perceptions. It's again just an energetic reading. Things change from moment to moment. So this week's crystal that was casted before I filmed was moonstone again. We got this 2 weeks ago, and it decided to appear again. So that is a message again. The message that moonstone does bring and opens this reading up this week, and is an energy you can be mindful of, carry the stone with, embody with, or make show up as a guardian or guide this week to help us through. So basically the moonstone is saying to pay attention to cycles, much like the moon herself, between the new moon, the waxing, the full moon, and the waning. The different stages that you have throughout your day-to-day and your experience this week. So it's being mindful of cycles. Things can come to be resurfaced from the subconscious that have not been dealt with. That's emotions, fears, limitations, things that we have not had closure on from the past. However, the moon can illuminate our path. So this, despite to be mindful not to repeat cycles, but to be mindful of what needs to be let go through the cycles of life, circumstances, emotion, and relationships, and what new cycles are we creating and wanting to bring in this week. The moon will illuminate our path if we follow our truth, our subconscious, and what's being shown to us, and including how we may react in negative ways or things that we can do not to repeat the same circumstances, but to allow new cycles to come in by letting go. So that's what the moonstone's guiding us for this week, to follow our intuition, our truth, our illumination, and not to fall into cycles of things that no longer serve us, but to embrace the new cycles of life, change, and circumstances. Even if they're a little hard to swallow, it will help you to kind of let go and be mindful and follow the moon's path, the moon's light or lack of light, but either way, your inner star and your inner guide and your spirit guides and those that guide you. That's this week's opening message. So this week we're going to use again the Murder of Crows Tarot, which I used last week. A lovely mass market deck by Corrado Roy. It is an amazing deck. It's black and white and one of my favorite clear readers. I will be using again this week as a repeat of last week as the cards are that step forward. The Oracle, which is the Fallen Angels Oracle, a beautiful deck that's perfect as a perfect complement to the Murder of Crows. But this time of year, this change of seasons, especially if you're in the northern hemisphere and in the northern United States like myself, you see the change of the seasons, things dying, the leaves, the change in the temperature, and feeling that next stage of transition as we approach Samhain. So that's a lovely deck, one of my favorite oracles, and one of my favorite oracles, speaking of the devil, but actually is this is, and I used it last week, Purgatorium Heks by the amazing Mr. Freiborg, who is an amazing creator. Check out his Instagram. You'll certainly get a good laugh and uplifting in this difficult experiences. We need those laughs, and we need creators that actually show different perspectives, different art, and bring more to the table. This deck is out of print. I will not part with it. She's one of my favorites. I believe Falling Angels is also out of print. I have not checked. So let's see what Spirit and the universe and message would like us to know so we can have an effective, empowered week this week. Let's see what I need to know in the collective whom this may apply to or resonate with. What energies, circumstances may present themselves or will interact with us. What do we need to know to have a more effective, empowered week experience as we move through day to day and circumstance to circumstance, and as we continue to move through and let it be acknowledging old cycles and letting go as best as we can, and embracing new cycles to make new rooms for those next stages in the seasons and the different places this week in our life, as it is all part of the whole, and to let go of the past and to let go of fears and limitations that are holding you back to make room for the new, and that helps us to have a better life experience. So the cards are about ready. Okay, this top one, well, at least two top ones since they stuck together, and one from the bottom. That's how it's going this week from Spirit, so they gave me two instead of one from the top. Let's see. We have the Nine of Wands this week. We have the Page of Pentacles this week. And we have the Nine of Cups this week. So we got two nines. Okay. As you can see, interesting, the kind of bookends, the Nine of Cups was at the bottom of the deck. So that's what lies beneath or is shadow or something that maybe needs to be recognized this week. And of course the other two were from the top. So we have with the Nine of Wands, we have the element of fire. That's action, will, what we're creating, motivation, what drives us through and forward on this life, the actions we take, the inactions we take, our inner fire, our inner truth, and also our true will, and also things we create or interact with. The Pentacles, the Page of Pentacles is an earth-based card, so that's what's on the material that we create with that fire as earth and fire elements this week. And the page is more of what we're learning and what we're creating and what we're bringing into our reality and how we're creating it and what we're using and what we're being presented to ourselves and others to have an effective, empowered week. And just to move through and what we can see in our reality and what builds our future foundations as the present brings into the future and we learn from our past. But we do need to let go from our past, as it says, and always be willing to learn and reevaluate things, much like that Page of Pentacles is telling me. And of course, the Nine of Cups being underneath. This week it is a strong reminder, Spirit is telling me, and my guides are telling me, that this collective, that despite all the hardships being with, especially that Nine of Wands that you've had to endure, whether you feel battered, very challenged, close to overwhelm, close to breaking, maybe feeling the lack of wanting to move forward, you are very strong. You have a strong will. That Nine of Wands is a symbol of the ability of all that you have learned from, like those main crows flying around, is despite everything looming over you and that has throughout this life and your experiences, this week will be none different, but this collective is a bit used to that and accustomed to the different challenges. But you also have so much strength despite what the challenges are. Yes, there are some moments and many moments that are harder than others, and this week will be no exception. But remember, you have the fire, the will, and the motivation to move through it. Through all that changes you've had in your life, the challenges, and the things you had to stand up for, you continue to stand up for yourself this week and use that to continue to propel yourself forward. That Nine of Wands is, yes, I'm overwhelmed. Yes, I'm exhausted. Yes, I'm sick of things coming at me. But I do the best I can. And this collective always does the best they can. Whether it's something they can do immediately or whether it takes them days, months, weeks, or years, it's still you accomplish, and you accomplish your wisdom and experience and taking those actions in your own true will. So that is stand strong, take the actions you need to, despite what comes at you, work with what you have, be mindful, and continue to use that fire you have within and that strength you have. Stand tall. You deserve it. Be proud of yourself. Now, the Page of Pentacles, like I said, is, you see that pentacle, just like any other Rider-Waite-Smith depiction, as holding that pentacle out. So you're being offered the opportunity to learn and to create something new. And what you have been learning is being presented more into that. You are looking at things from a more different perspective of what you have and what you can present and create into your daily world and your experiences and what others have to offer you and just what life has to offer you. It is great to learn from our experiences, and the willingness to Page of Pentacles. The pages always show to me a useful, different look and realignment, and the willingness to use what you have and to realign and not be so, held in your previous beliefs, but to look at something from a different point of view. What am I creating today? What am I creating this week? And how can I better create, and how can I better learn from the past to let it go, to move through the cycles and create those new cycles. I see this collective this week is going to be embodying a lot of learning and a lot of use of resources they have and being presented with opportunities from others. So be aware of the opportunities that you have and around you and what you can create for yourself and those that truly matters this week. And be mindful that even though things don't look quite the way you hoped or always expected to, or turn out the way that you have, no matter how much effort you put in or aligned, look for those things that find fulfillment. And answers coming this week also with that Page of Pentacles being presented, some news that's going to help you in your day-to-day experiences, in what you have been created to represent yourself, in what you have been working on and what you need. So look for the messages, look for what fulfills you, what brings you laughter and joy, even if it is for a few minutes, or what you can bring to others. Look for those things that are a blessing and that fill your cup. But something you need is definitely being presented this week with that Page of Cups and this, not Page of Cups, oh my, that might be a message here, but the Page of Pentacles and the Nine of Cups, I meant to say, which cups are water, emotions, perceptions, intuition. So look for what's guiding you. Just like that moonstone says, look for what fills your cup. How can you help to fill others' cups? Because by doing so, they have a reasonable give or take of emotions and energy. We also brighten others in our own days. That's the little things we can do. And look for something that you've been looking for. It's going to be presented itself. It may come in a different way than you've seen or that you expected, but it's going to be a blessing in disguise. That's the message I'm saying. So stay strong, stay within your boundaries, use your wisdom and knowledge, what you work with and what you can present. and gain into what you can create into your reality this week. And of course, how you can fill your emotional cups and others and look for those blessings in disguise or may lie beneath. And let's see, before this gets too long, hopefully, what does the Fallen Angels Oracle like to have as clarification and conjunctive message spirit this week that clarifies this message so this collective can have an effective, empowered week, but be mindful of the energies and clarify the message that you have already given us and will continue to guide us through. One from top and one from bottom, I'm being told. So let's see. Leadership was the one on top, so that's what's on the surface and is presenting itself. That's very appropriate. And of course, confusion is at the bottom, so that's what lies beneath. So the leadership being on the surface is saying, with that Page of Pentacles and that Nine of Wands that you have, continue to take those leadership roles for yourself and what you're creating and what you're learning and what you want to move forward in life and what you want to create for your future, despite others what might tell you. So others may offer you advice and opportunities or circumstances. That's great, but it's also mindful for what works for you in your experiences and how you can take action on it, and also take action on possibly maybe everything that's being offered to you or being said has to be analyzed or looked at from the lens of the moon and how it may apply to your past, current, and future cycles, like that moonstone. So it's saying that take the leadership role despite confusion that lies beneath and uncertainty. The only thing certain about life is uncertainty. And there's obviously, with what we're seeing and experiences and being fed by the world at this time, there's a lot of confusion. So, but don't be a leader in your life. Be a leader in your experience. Take those leadership roles when you can and how you can. This collective has a very strong sense of that Nine of Wands and the Page of Pentacles and that Nine of Cups. You are able to create and take that leadership. You're great leaders because you're willing to learn, you're willing to be resourceful, and you're willing to realign, and you are willing to take that step forward in this life. Yes. So don't let confusion get the best of you. Leadership is needed, and to be the creator or creatrix of your life this week and experience, this will help you. And this will help you to continue to be that Nine of Wands in an effective way. This will help you to fill your cup and use the blessings that will be in disguise. And that's answers that are coming this week that will bring you fulfillment. So it's going to be a strong, empowered week. I feel this is a great progression into things, and we'll make great progression this week. And we have continued to, and we'll continue to build off of that. That's what I'm seeing in the message Spirit's giving me. Make continued progression. You've already come so much and so far. And what is Purgatorium Heks? I'm not taking 4 or 5 cards. What would you like to end or clarify into this message? Well, with leadership and confusion, and just the overall message for this collective need to know for this week to wrap this up. Ooh, we got death. Okay, so remember how I said cycles and what needs to end, so new things can let in. The moon, just like the moonstone, is saying to me, and this is saying strongly in conjunction with that, and of course the Fallen Angels Oracle with the depictions of death. Transformation. How have you been transformation? What do you need to let go of? What if you don't let go of it? The tower may come. So it's time that you have the ability to transform and transmute your circumstances and energies this week. Your experience, your perspective. Um, Death is, an ending's going to come. It's not a physical death. It rarely is. This again is an oracle card, but still relates to the 13 in the tarot. It's not the ending is only the beginning, and the beginning is the end. And in this case is embrace death. Embrace what you fear. Embrace what you need to let go to break through those limitations and transmute those energies and continue to transform. As I said, this collective is great at using and transmuting energies and transforming. So let go and be accepting of the death of seasons, cycles, experiences, and know it's no longer serving you or serving each other. And with that being said, this is going to be a very effective, empowered week, I feel. So thank you for watching. If you do like this and this message resonates with you, please comment below. And please give it a like, because the algorithm does not find my channel favorable. But it does reach who I know whom it's meant to reach. And Spirit also guides me through these messages. And of course, as always, stay strange.